Okay, so I'm going to show you guys where I am, and then hopefully we can all get caught up around the same levels. Everybody's project will be a little bit different today, but I've got my a section running through my building now. So I just took the tiny house and essentially threw in a floor and an upper level. So this shouldn't be too different from you. I've still got my courtyard level, so I'm going to start my stairs here on the courtyard level, and this would be my main level. And then I will tile my views so that I can see both of those at the same time. And in fact, I'm actually going to flip my section so that I can see the stairs. So I'll give you a sec to get your model ready as far as views, and we'll go over stairs.
And what direction do you want to see your stairs?
So, sorry, I'm actually just going to put in a whole new section. Let me throw in my section. Since I'm working on a different plan than yours, it'll be a little bit different, but if I imagine correctly, let's say that this is your final project, right? So typically the stairs go right here.
Yep.
So I'm going to put my stairs right here.
Okay.
And I'm going to flip. Sorry?
And you want to be looking at them sideways?
Yeah, I'm just going to cut a section like this.
Yeah.
And let me scooch it a little bit closer. And I might actually cut two sections so that I can see it both ways, actually.
Okay.
Why not? This will be the most helpful. Actually, no, I'll just do one now. We'll cut more later. We'll just do the one for now. This should be more than enough.
You want to use as well?
Yeah. And what I'll do on my courtyard level, while I'm in my courtyard level, I'm also going to open up my upper level so that I don't have both of them open, but I can just toggle back and forth between them. That's my ceiling plan. There we go. This should. Right. So just to recap again, I've got my section cut, and my section is cutting through the long axis of my building, and it's facing down towards the south, which would be the bottom of the screen. This is where I'm going to put my stairs. I think similar to how you have yours. You might need to flip it depending on how you oriented your building. So I've got my section, and then I've also got my upper level just in another tab so that I can easily reference it if I need to. But I don't need it open all the time. So when we draw our stairs, it's really similar to boundary lines, but a little bit different. I'm going to sketch on the board just to give you an idea of how the concept works. When I click on architecture, I can go to Stair, and now I'm going to go ahead and start sketching. So when you go to Stair, there are different stairs that you can draw right here. So the most common is called a straight stair. And then we've also got a circle, a spiral, center, an L-shaped winder, and then a U-shaped winder. Let me talk about the terminology of these for just a moment. So a straight stair can also turn. So a straight stair can be straight like this, or you can add a landing and then have it turn basically in any direction. It just means that the stairs themselves are straight. Now the winder is different because what a winder does, I'm going to draw this in blue so I don't mess up the straight stair. Those stairs actually start to wind. So the stairs themselves start to wind. So this will be the most common one we use, but you can also play with the different stair types. Similar to the roofs, it'll do everything automatically. So this is the way stairs work when you're working in Revit. You'll click on the stair you want, and I'm going to use the straight run as an example. And using your sketch tools, you just start drawing a line. And then Revit knows that along this line is where the stairs go. And you can see that somewhere at the end, there will be a note that says like 8 risers created blank remaining. So as you pull it, you'll see the number of risers created go up and the number of how many are left to be created going down. Because the moment you click Stair, it calculates, okay, this is the floor height, this is how many stairs we need, and this is how many I need to draw. So for this class, we pretty much do everything out of the box as Revit does it. We don't go into the code that much or start changing the heights of stairs. We can, but I just kind of want to put in a generic stair for today, and then we'll get into it a little bit more in depth if we have time. But it'll tell you right here. And for the most part, we don't always just do straight runs like this, similar to what you guys have in your project. So for today, we're going to play around. We will put in the straight run as our first example, but I also think it's important to show you guys how to do a landing, because more often than not, you guys will do a landing. And the way that you create a landing, this is a corner of a room right here, okay? So, and pretend this is your final project. Right now, the way that I think your final project is set up is you have a little landing here, and then so we take our line and we start drawing down like this, okay? And this is where Revit starts drawing all of our stairs. That's how we would do it for the project. But let's do an edit. And maybe for today, we say instead of starting here, we're actually going to start our stairs like this, have a landing, and then turn it like this. Everybody with me on that? So the way that those stairs would be drawn, you draw a line where you want the stairs to go, and then you stop drawing the line. And then Revit knows that wherever you take a pause and then continue again, that it needs to generate a landing here. You don't need to generate the landing, Revit does that for you. I think this is the hardest disconnect for people, because they assume that when they're drawing the stairs that they also need to draw in the landing. So it doesn't feel intuitive to people to draw stairs, stop drawing stairs, and then come back and start drawing stairs again. So the other tricky thing about this is, let's say our stairs are 3 feet wide. Depending on where you click, do you see how you can kind of have an awkward run-in? Okay, there's several things we can do. You know me, I'm very casual about Revit. I kind of just like let things go and let them happen. If you draw it like this, just use the move command to get that out of the way, okay? If you know that you don't want to do the move command, before you start, draw in your reference plane. So pretend our wall is here again. Should have used a different color. But here's one reference, well, we don't need a reference plane here, but let's say you measure, if you know your stairs are 3 feet, you might put in a 3 foot reference plane here, so that you know where to click to start this one, okay? If you want a bigger landing, then you can make that 4 feet or whatever size. So we're gonna start off by first doing a straight run, then we're gonna delete it, and then we're gonna practice the turn. And then after we practice the turn, we're going to talk about floor openings. Okay, so first we're just going to draw the stairs and ignore the floor openings. Okay, and just do this stuff. All right, ready or not? Here we go. I'm going to hit escape so I can start it with you guys. Again, under the architecture menu, there is a stair icon. Let's see. Nope, there still isn't a shortcut for that, surprisingly. So go ahead and click on Stair for me. And if you want to just watch for now, that's totally fine. But what I'm going to do is what I just told you. I'm going to pull back a little bit. I don't know exactly how far because I need a landing. I can't start the stairs here because you can't jump into the corner and then start climbing up. I'll give a little pause. And then as I start drawing, do you see what it says on my screen? It's really faint. 6 risers created, 15 remaining. Do you see how it's ghosted in right there? Now, taking a look, are my stairs going to fit as a straight run right here? They won't fit the way that I have my levels and everything set up. So for today's example, everybody's projects will be a little bit different. I don't know exactly what your floor heights are. I don't know exactly how much space you have. And here's the other thing. How is it drawing my stairs right now? Do you see how the run is in the center?
Is it the center line?
Yeah, remember we've seen this before
yeah,
when it drew our walls? Yep, so it's to the center. And I am the worst with left and right. Okay, I got it right the first time. That's a miracle. When people ask, I'm like, I really have a hard time with my left and right. But the way that it works, it means that, okay, so I'm going to kind of vote. Well, no, I'll just do it here on the screen. Do you see the way that I'm drawing my stairs? Okay, if I were standing there, the run, I really don't know how it works. I don't know why the run is left, because to me, that is a right run, because it's drawing it to the right of where my line is. I don't understand it. Does that make sense?
The stairs go up to the
You're
left.
on the left, I guess, so.
The stairs are going up to the left.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know what run left or right means. I don't know.
I feel like it's
So-
you're running the line on the left of where they are.
So again, I'm really bad with left and right. When I was little, I learned it backwards, and people are like, do this. They both look like L's. So I'm sorry. I'm really good at Revit, but I'm not good at left and right. Here's what I'll tell you. Just click on the screen until it looks right. Okay. So right now, I'm already running into the trouble of not being able to do a straight run. So because I want to do a straight run to begin, I'm going to hit escape. And I am actually, this is going to be really weird, but I'm going to draw my stairs starting here. There's my run center. Again, I'm very casual about this. Okay, again, left worked. And I'm just going to let my stairs kind of run up through the middle of my space. Okay. And just like any other command, once I'm done drawing, I can hit escape. And then eventually I can hit escape again to stop drawing stairs. So what I'd like you guys to do is on your main level, find a straight run. And I think you'll be really surprised, especially if you have your AutoCAD plan on, to see the stairs Revit builds versus what was on your CAD plan. And like I promised, we will adjust it at the end of class. But for now, let's just do it out of the box. I'm going to hit green just to accept my stairs.
Oh, that's
And I'm going to
it.
cut my section the other way.
I couldn't get it to pick out of that stair.
Ah, yeah, don't forget that green button. Okay. And I'm dragging my section over to this side so you can see what that looks like.
Now, mine have risers, yours don't. Did you talk about that? Like visible risers, yours has a solid.
Is yours open?
Oh, because I'm in the middle of my stairs. That's
Maybe, yeah. So my
That's what it is.
section cut is over here to the side.
Yeah.
If I move my section cut over, it would look like
that's
that.
what it is. Thank
Okay.
you. Sorry.
So I'm going to give you guys another minute or so to place a stair. And if you need to troubleshoot, throw up a hand. Like I said, this is really the first time we're doing an exercise kind of blind, just in the sense that all of our projects are different today. Okay? But I would like to see a straight run stair. Second level?
Mine ended up on the second floor, but that was because I didn't select the right base level.
Okay, redraw it real quick, no problem. Okay, great. Oh, awesome, you just grabbed it and changed the base level?
Yeah.
Perfect, good thinking. Okay, so now that we have a staircase in here, let's talk a little bit about what type of stair that we drew. And I might even throw in a camera view so you can see the stairs a little bit better. Okay, so here's one other stair view. All right, remember how I said we're gonna worry about floor cuts at the very end? Okay, we're gonna do lots of stairs, so I'm not gonna have you guys keep cutting the floor for a stair you're not going to use. That's why I'm ignoring it for now. What I would like to talk about though is what type of stair did we just draw? So let's click on the stair, the bottom part, not the railing. Okay, you'll notice if you click on the railing, it's going to talk about the railing.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the stair. So grab the bottom part. And if you look at your properties, do you see that it's an assembled stair, residential, closed 2 sides? You see that? So what that means, closed on 2 sides, do you see this board running along both sides of your stringers? That's what it means to be closed on both sides. So essentially, it's assuming that it's an open stair, so it needs to be closed so you don't see the structure. Now, in your drafting project, I think a lot of you guys actually have a wall next to your stair, right? So if we were being accurate, you could do open 2 sides. Okay? And in fact, I might even be thinking about this incorrectly, because if it's open on 2 sides, that's actually more of a finished look. So that means this is an open stair, and we want it to have a finished look. Whereas if we have it closed 2 sides, this is essentially your rough framing. So there's going to be walls covering this, so it doesn't matter if you see the rough framing. Do you guys see the difference between the two? Okay, so let's go through, and a lot of those you might not see in this plan, just because most of you guys will have it between 2 walls, but you can do open 2 sides. So that means both sides are finished. So if I go to my 3D view, see how both sides are finished? So it's finished carpentry on each side and not rough carpentry. And then I could also change it. Let's see if you guys can see this here. If I can just do open risers. So this is kind of a modern look. So we've got exposed stringers. It's completely open. Open riser, middle stringer. We're going even more modern. And then you can do right open or left open. So sometimes you'll have a wall up against, or sorry, a stair up against one wall, but then the other side is open. So you can toggle back and forth to see which one works best for you. So those are just kind of some aesthetic qualities of the stairs. And I've actually never gone online and looked for different stair families. I know that they exist, but I've just kind of used the generic Revit styles. Another thing that you can look at while you're here is if you click on this stair, do you see under dimensions that it actually starts giving you like the actual riser height, the desired number of steps, the size of the tread, right? So if we are in even a commercial or residential setting, if we change the tread to 10 inches, you can see that it gives me a warning, but do you see how the stairs got a little bit, it wouldn't be narrower. Narrow, I think, they just kind of squished them in. Okay, it squished them in because now these that used to be 11 inches are now 10. Let me see if I can find a good dimension string to pull off of that so you can see where that number was coming from. Bless you. Is that going to give me? Yep, so there's 10. Let me do that one more time. Let's say you want it to be a really long tread. Let's say you want 1 foot. Oh, or 1 inch. Okay. You can tiptoe up there. Whoops. Totally violated code. I love that Revit still did it. It was like, okay. Okay, so you can do 1 foot here. And I don't know in your drafting project, what do you think your treads were? Does anybody know? Were they 11? Okay. So I'm going to change it back to 11. I thought they were closer to 9. I'm not quite sure why.
Well,
So
it was supposed to be 11. I'll put it that way.
okay, fair enough. So now we've got these at 11, but do you see that on our riser? This is a really weird number. It's really close to 7, but not quite. Okay, so we can always come through and fudge this if we wanted to. And what I like to do is under the design, so right now, the desired number is misleading. It's not our desired number, it's whatever Revit calculated, right? But now we're gonna say, okay, I am going to want my stairs a little bit steeper. So I'm gonna take off a stair and it's going to recalculate, and it just keeps warning everything. And you see how now it's still under 7.5 or 7 3/4? I'm gonna take off one more. And that's getting really close to 7.5. In fact, I think it's over, because 32/64 would be 7.5. But I still haven't hit 3/4. Let's see what happens when I go to an 18. Nope, now I have violated code. 8 inches doesn't work. It has to be 7 3/4. Okay, so I'll bump it back up to 19. So I have those numbers up on the board. If it's a commercial space, 7 inches. If it's residential, 7 3/4. We're in a live-work situation, and to be honest, the city always goes with the more stringent code. But if it works better for your project to have it be 7 or 7 3/4, that's totally fine. So far, so good. Okay, really basic changes that we're making. And one thing that has happened that I didn't even pay attention to, as I changed my desired riser number, it completely disconnected it from the floor. Do you guys see that? So before, where it was attached, now it's like not even close to hitting the floor. So I have to take a look at that to see what happened here. We'll draw one other stair and then play with some of those numbers as we go through. So what I'd like to do now, let's delete the stair that we just drew, and now we're going to draw one with a landing and play with the railings too. You guys all right to move on from this one? Okay, so I just grabbed the stair and deleted it, and I'm going back to my courtyard level. And I'm going to hide my furniture so I have some room to work with. And I'm gonna go, my L's gonna go like this. You can decide where your L is going to go. Okay. And remember, we're gonna do the L twice. The first one is just that top one that I did where I freehanded it. Actually, it's still the bottom one. First, I'm gonna freehand it, and then I'm gonna come back and actually draw a reference line and work with the reference line. Okay. So to freehand it, I'm gonna go back to stair. And to be honest, any project I start, I have no idea where the stairs are going to kind of start and end, because I don't know how much space they're going to take up. So here's my sketch, and I really just eyeball it. To me, that looks like it's about 3 feet away. If I'm worried about it, I can stop one stair shy of it. And then to start it up again, take a look at my screen. I line up my line to where the other one ended so they don't overlap, and then I just continue on the other side. Okay. And then when I'm really done, I hit the green check. And I want to do that one more time for you guys. So I'm going to delete this one. So again, here's the L that I want to draw. And I click on stair. I'm still on run and straight. And again, I'm just eyeballing. Maybe I'll come a little bit closer this time. And I can see, can you guys look at my screen real quick? See how I know that that landing's way too small? Okay, your landing should at least, by code, it needs to be the width of your stair. And by code, your stairs need to be at least 3 feet wide. So I'm gonna stop that, find that intersection point, and then turn it over to the next side. Okay. And you can see on my plan that it automatically draws a little up arrow and a cut line. So try an L-shaped stair for me as well. Let me know if that worked for you. Carol, don't leave me in suspense. What?
you need to shorten it to create that landing? Or do you just
We'll find out. I don't know. Sometimes it is easy, but sometimes it does. No, it isn't easy. Let me show you.
I didn't think so, because I
And
tried earlier.
the reason why, whenever I go to edit the stairs, let me show you what happens. So let's say that on the upper level, okay, let's say that I want to actually have more stairs down here. So when I click on edit stairs, okay, you will notice that it's numbering it. Here's the first stair, 9th, 10th, whatever. I can come and take stairs away. And it's like, okay, you just need to add more stairs somewhere. But if I come here, it doesn't let me add stairs that way.
Got it. Yep.
So, to be completely honest, it could just be that I haven't had the patience to like really perfect how to edit stairs. But I go back to what I always fall back on. It's just easier for me to redraw it than to figure out why it's not working or to make any edits. So, okay. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that. Yes, I want to cancel. So here is my L-shaped stair. What I'd like to do now, so take a look at my screen. On our L, I am going to make kind of two rules. Olivia, did that one die?
Shut down and it won't start back up.
What on earth? Our lab is cursed today, really? Oh, I'm the best. My gosh. Okay, now that we have this, let's start applying some rules to it. And again, this is going to be tricky because we're going at it blind. But the rule that I want to put down is that I want the stair to turn, and I have to completely redraw my L the other way. But in a nutshell, I want to make sure that I only have 3 or 4 steps going up, and then I want a 4-foot landing to a turn. Does that make sense? Let me draw it first. Don't even try. Just watch how I would kind of walk through it, and then we'll do it together. So I'm going to delete this one. So remember, my rule is only, let's say 4 steps. Landing, 4-foot landing, and then turn. And sometimes it's nice to have a bigger landing because with your handrails, if you only have the perfect size of landing, your handrails don't work. Like you either have to like stop it and then start it, or there's like a weird dip down. So it's always good to have at least 1 extra stair width for your handrails. So on that note, I'm going to say goodbye to this one. Again, we don't get emotionally attached just because they're really easy to put in. Now, I already have a reference plane here, but you don't. So I'm just going to put in a reference plane. And this is where I know that I want a 4-foot landing. You guys with me so far? So I'm sketching out where this landing is going to go. And then somewhere down here, I know that I'm going to have 4 steps. And let me actually do one more reference plane because it's going to be 4 feet by 4 feet. I think I did it the wrong way. Thanks, Jameson. We're both being tested today. Okay, so there's our landing. And then I'm going to start my stair. And again, I have no idea where this is going to land. I can't eyeball 11 inches times 4 because 11 is my tread, right? So I can't eyeball 44 inches. So I'm just going to start 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't even get close to the landing, but I'm going to stop. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to turn my stair. Still not going to work, right? I'm going to have to make a U. So what do you guys want me to do? Do you guys want me to just keep making the L or do the U so that it works? Okay, I'm going to do the U. You weren't just whispering, I love you, right? Okay, so do you guys see how I have to stop here? Because if I keep going, I'm going to run into the wall. And this time I have to eyeball it again. When I get close, do you guys see that this isn't big enough to be a landing? That's 3 feet, okay? I'm really just eyeballing it. I finished that. And then if I wanted to, I could try to line up with this 4-foot landing. It might not happen though, just because it's all the way over there. So I can either line it up with the stair or move it later. I have the choice. Since I have the stair there, I'll go ahead and line it up. And it's going to end up something like this. Okay. Now I'm done drawing the stair, but I'm not done editing. So this is where I said that you could come back and edit where the stairs go by moving it. So if I come back over here, remember I said if you ever draw that turn wrong, you can come back and move it? That's what I'm going to do now. So here I'm going to grab my stair. I'm going to use the move command. And remember I have my reference plane right here to show me that 4 feet. So I'm going to grab my stairs by here and move them over there. Still got a 4-foot landing there too. And then to keep things consistent, I actually want to line these up. I've never done this before, but let's see if the align command works. So align from this point to that point. I'm so happy it worked. I would have been so embarrassed. Okay, so we kind of fudged a U shape right here. I really wanted it to be an L, but this tiny house is really tiny now that I'm putting stairs in it. I'm realizing just how tiny it is. And it doesn't help that I have like 12-foot floor to floor. So I've got this tiny house with a really big ceiling height. So now I'll go ahead and hit accept. There it is. But just like all of my work, now I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Well, let me show it to you here. And then let's do it together. So I walk up. I go up a little bit more, I turn again. This is looking at the bottom of the stairs. Okay. So let's start off by putting together our reference planes. Yeah.
Can I get on? I was watching this.
Oh my gosh, absolutely, yes. Projecting yet? Nope. Okay, so if you're having a hard time really making it work within your project, I was just saying that I really don't mind if you draw walls. You won't have floors yet, but that's fine. But you can just draw whatever wall you want. I'm not even paying attention to that. And just draw a big box. And my, of course, my extents aren't going to do it like this. Let me turn off. Let me turn off my crop view. You can draw whatever big of a box that you need to kind of do generic stairs. Okay. I typically do this class the same day that we do roofs, but this semester, again, we're moving things around, so we obviously haven't done roofs yet. Live and learn. But I mean, to be honest, I think that this is more realistic because you'll always have these weird parameters that you have to work around. You won't always get like this big clean box to work with. So I'm just going to leave this here if that's what you want to do. And then we'll go and do one more U. I'm gonna let Olivia set up real quick. And then I'll meet you guys back on the main level. Okay. Olivia, you ready? Yeah. Okay, cool. So kind of visually see where you want your U. Okay. And go ahead and in one of the corners draw 2 reference planes, 4 feet and 4 feet. And in fact, I'll walk through that part again too. So I'm just going to quickly sketch out 2 reference planes, exactly as I did before. And then using dimension, DI, I'm going to dimension both of those strings. And then after I've dimensioned them, I click back on the reference plane. 4 feet, 4 feet. And this is where I will hang out for a bit. Yeah, Bobby?
So if you wanted to, or are you, or I guess, are you able to create stairs going down rather than up?
Yeah, you can.
Is it the opposite direction?
Yep,
of
so what you would do, you would just specify the base level so that if you were on your second level, Revit kind of already will see like, okay, we have to go down. But if we were on our first level and we had a basement, it might not know. So when we start our stairs, just like our walls, we've got our base level and then our top level. So sometimes you can flip that around. Okay. Really similar to walls. Right, did everybody get their, I forgot what they're called, their reference planes? You guys got those? Okay, now let's go ahead and start with our rules. So remember, my rule is that this time we only draw 4 stairs, and then we stop, we turn, and then we'll either make the U or a straight run. I'm going to talk to you guys. Let's see what you guys can fit. So click on stair, and then click anywhere to start. 1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as you see 4 stairs, click, and there's your first run of stairs. Swing it back over, find your 4-foot landing, and then continue to draw. Everybody with me so far? Okay. So after you have your 4 stairs and you turn, do you guys have enough room, or do you need to swing it to the U? You have tons of room? Okay. Tara has tons of room. Lindy, what about you?
I'm working in a tiny house, so I have to do a U, but
You have to do a U? Okay.
whatever.
I see some U's. And then Olivia, don't forget, hit Control Z, go back, and change your location line. So don't do it in the center. It's going to be left or right. I cannot help you with that. There you go. Good. So if you guys are doing the U, I'm just going to go through that one more time. So again, looking at my screen, nothing scientific. I can eyeball and see that this is too small of a landing from the wall to the base of the stair. So I'm going to stop it here. And I purposefully didn't draw my reference plane where I needed it to go because I didn't last time. So I didn't want to cheat and do it correctly this time. So just like last time, I don't have a reference plane that comes far enough to help me. So I'm going to just find the end of my stair and turn it back up. Okay, so my stairs are drawn, but I still need to kind of finesse them a little bit. So the first thing I want to do is grab this run, and I can even just drag it and it should snap into place. Being that I used AutoCAD for so many years, the whole drag thing is still not intuitive to me. Like, we need to use the move command. And then what I can also do, 2 things, I can take, oh, I can't take the reference plane, or reference plane. I can draw another reference plane and align to it. Do you guys see where I'm going there? So this is all still in the stair command. Or what I did last time, I found out that we can use the align command and just push it up to align it. And once all of that looks good, green check, and you can take a look at your stairs. Everybody get a stair that they like? If you don't yet, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit pause, and I'm going to let you just kind of play with stairs for a minute. So you guys can decide where you think you want your stairs to go for this portion of the project. It could be a straight run, you could try doing another L or a U, but just play with this one for a bit. So the question was, what happens if you draw your stairs and complete the stair before it gets all the risers in? I think I can click on the stair and go to Edit Stairs. And then from here, this is going to take me a sec because it would be easy to just drag this and add stairs, right? See how it's adding it? But we want those to turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on straight. Does it know? Oh, it does know. It knows that it's part of the stair. Okay. Phew, again, thank you. I didn't know if that would work. I've never done that before, so I wasn't sure. And it would, like, did you guys see how it's easy on a straight run?
Yeah.
You just grab and drag. I'll put this in the recording. With that, the only thing that you can change in this project, let me try one other thing. There might be one other way of rigging it, but for now, the only thing that I know that you can change without messing up your stair is the tread. So you can make that narrower or wider, and it won't mess up your landing. Because take a look at what's happening to my model. So see how I'm trying to approach the 7 3/4 number to kind of save on floor space? When I move this down to 18, it gives me a warning. But worse than that, even though it's saying my top level's the upper level, it's just moving my stairs up past the top level. I want it to automatically calculate it so that there's 18, but the riser height still fits between the two floors, whatever number that might be. It's not doing that though. I'm gonna try one other thing. It isn't a good fix, but let me see. So right now, remember how just a second ago I wanted 18 stairs? I'm gonna see if I tell Revit that I want 18 stairs, if it'll draw it correctly. I don't know if it will. That's not confusing. That's so weird to me. There's no way that you would have ever known that. I'm telling you. Did that make any sense what I just did? I've never had to do that before. So because I've never had to teach it this way, I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense to you guys. By the looks on your faces, it did not. Okay, let me back up to this stair right here. Are you guys with me on this stair? Let me element hide this for just a moment. Okay. So why does Naima keep talking about these stairs? All right, so here's this stair right here. Everybody with me? It's highlighted in blue. I will let you know that right now, you can just keep the stairs exactly how Revit has it drawn. Like you can just set it and forget it and not worry about trying to change any of the different dimensions, okay? The reason why I'm still hanging out here though, and I've said this a lot the past couple weeks, remember how I keep going through like Revit fundamentals versus like intro to Revit? So this is a pain in the butt, but it's also one of these fundamentals where I think that there might be a day where you're like, oh, I wish we went over that. Maybe not, but I just want to show you. So for your project that you did in your hand drafting or AutoCAD class, let's say you draw your stair and it's just too long. Like you just don't have the length to fit your stairs in your project. Maybe there's like a wall or a room that it's abutting next to. Are you guys with me with that concept? Okay, so we're gonna say that this stair just doesn't fit. When I look at the calculations here, I am not quite to the 7 3/4 / 8 inches yet. If I go up to 8 inches, I am breaking code, but just per se, right? So I know that I can actually get rid of one more step and still have it be in code. Are you guys with me there? That theory? Okay, so this is what's frustrating to me, because if I come to this stair and I just say, okay, Revit, recalculate it so that I have 18 stairs that are now a little bit higher, it's 18 inches. So it gives that to me, but it doesn't line it up to the floor. This is where I'm going crazy, because in the past, it recalculates it and lines it up to the floor. I don't know why it isn't right now. Okay, I'm gonna keep asking, are you guys with me on that concept? Do you guys see how Revit should be working right now? Mm-hmm. Okay, this is where the steam starts coming out of my ears. Now, because I've worked with Revit long enough, I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna undo that, and what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna see what happens if I draw a stair, and I know that I wanted 18 risers, right? How many is it gonna draw by default right now? 16. Okay, Again, desired number, do we even know what the desire is? It's like, Revit, come on, this is a crappy relationship. You don't know my desires. Don't tell me, right? But I'm going to bump this up to 18 because that's what I just tried to get and it didn't work. You guys still with me on that? Okay. So now when I fake it, let me try to even line these up. I might have to move it later. But here's what it looks like with 18. See, I get like an extra 11 inches in my floor plan. And maybe that's exactly what I need to make my walls work. Are you guys with me there? Okay. And you also see that it kept those same numbers. I'm going to hit yes. And I don't know why this time, let me hide the old stair. Sorry, all the railings are on. This time it actually drew it correctly without having it go above the floor plate. Unfortunately, I cannot answer why the previous example didn't work because it should have. I don't know. This is how I have to work with Revit. I'm like, okay, I will accept what you can do, accept your shortcomings, and try to rig it. Okay. I will also say though that a lot of times when you are working in projects, you won't necessarily be in charge of designing the stairs, right? Somebody else will have designed them for you, or they'll be existing in the plan. So if they're existing in the plan, you can decide if you want to sketch them out or just model them as accurately as you can by using the dimensions off in the properties like we just did. Okay, so now you guys are in that second situation. There's an existing staircase from an existing plan that's already there. So try and see if you can get those to work as close as possible. So Carol, this is where you might find out that those risers that were supposed to be 11, maybe they were really 9 inches.
Right.
And they're just really steep stairs because when I look at it, I'm like, there's no way 11 inch right. Unless the floor to floor height is really low. That could be the other thing. Because when we did our sections when we did our section the other day, we accounted for about 12 to 18 inches of structure, and then anywhere from I think 18 to 24 inches of the plenum. So if that starts to add up, you guys get to decide what part of the design you want to change. Do you want to change the stairs? Do you want to change the floor heights? A little bit of both. That's kind of what you guys get to decide since you're in the driver's seat as far as the design goes. Okay? That'll be up to you to decide what you want to do. There's not a right or wrong way to approach it for this project. Right? So with that, what I'm going to have you guys do is for about the next, do you think 10 minutes is enough to kind of finish up your stair as you want it in your project before we cut out floors? Yeah? I'm going to give you guys about 10 minutes. I'll check in 10 minutes. And regardless of where you are, I will go through the concept of cutting out the floor and adjusting walls. All right. See you in 10. And I'm going to keep asking my friend Google what's going on. So I'm placing a camera. And can you see that as we're going up the stairs, our head starts to hit the ceiling, right? So we need to adjust our floor plate to open up for the stairs. And this is another one of those situations where you guys can decide how you want it to be open. There are some houses where it's open the entire way. There are some houses where it's just partially open. So to start this example, I'm actually going to be opening it up all the way. So to do that, I'm going to go to my upper level because that's where the floor is. And so Fabi, at the beginning of class, you were talking about turning off your underlay. This is a situation where I want to turn it on so I can see the stairs down below. So in my upper level, if I come to my extents, if I go to my underlay, I want to see my courtyard level. And I don't know why I still can't see. Oh, is it because my stair is there? Let me turn it on wireframe. Okay, so one other trick. So I turned on underlay, and I only partially saw my stairs because my floor was blocking it. So what I did remember by default we're in hidden line. But if I change my visual style to wireframe, this is kind of this is X-ray vision, essentially. So I can see through the floor now and see the entire staircase. So I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that. So, yeah, so what I did is I first turned on my underlay.
On the upper level.
Yep, I'm on the upper level.
Okay.
And my underlay is looking down below at the courtyard, or whatever you've named it.
Okay, thank you.
And then after that, by default, when you're in your upper level plan, you might not see your staircase because the floor is blocking it. Okay, so it's showing what's underneath, but if you have an item on that level that's blocking it, you still won't see it. So if you go to wireframe, which is essentially X-ray vision, you'll be able to see through to your stair. And this is where I'll meet you guys. Everybody got that? So now what we can do to edit our floor plan, or sorry, our floor plate, you may remember my trick where I click on it in the section and then I come back to plan just because it's too tricky for me to try it and find it. Or come to any one of your perimeter walls and your cursor really needs to be really close to the inside of the exterior wall. So interior face of the exterior wall. And as I hit tab, eventually it will find my floor. I just zoomed out a little bit so you can see it better. And do you see how it says floors right now on my screen? I can click to grab it. So I'm being dramatic. It's not that hard, but I've just had too many times where I keep accidentally grabbing a wall or something else. So again, go into the section, grab your floor, come back into the plan and you can see that it's still selected. Or inside of the exterior wall, hit tab until it finds your floor. I think it took me about 5 tabs and then I got it. Okay. And another reason why it's helpful to have more than one view open, here I can clearly see that I have my floor. Sometimes it looks like I have my floor, but I might actually have a wall. Nope. There we go. So now I've got my floor again. So once you have your floor, we're going to go to Edit Boundary. And take a look at my screen for just one sec, because remember, we still need to have one continuous loop. So if I were to come here right now and trace right on top of this, and then try to close it, would that work if I just did that? What I need to do is get rid of these lines here too, right? So I can just, bless you, I can click on this and hit delete, right? I could have also grabbed this line and maybe moved it up here. That also works, but we're just redrawing that circle. Okay. Carol, are you okay over there?
No, I did something wrong when I drew my floor. I drew around the staircase and I'm
Okay.
messed up.
Not messed up. You can still redeem it, right? It's Revit, so you're essentially going to be doing the opposite of what I'm doing right now. And in fact, you could even delete that whole thing and redraw it. It's Revit, I think the best thing about it is you can easily redeem yourself. Honestly. It sucks that you have to do it again. It's okay. You can either extend those boundaries to encase it now.
Well, okay, I tried to do that and it didn't like that. But anyway, it's okay.
So if it
Keep going,
doesn't
and
like
I'll
it, you can...
start over.
Okay. I'm just checking in because I can tell.
Well, I'm just not gonna do mine.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink these down and then see how I've still got this weird mess going on over here. I'm going to do it differently on either side because it's really the same situation. On this side, I'm going to draw some extra lines. Tell me how to troubleshoot this one. Is Revit going to like that?
No.
What's the command to fix it? Oops, do I have an extra one? I trimmed. I had an extra one in there. And then over here, instead of trimming, I'm just going to grab this and toggle it up to where it needs to go. Then here. And then I always hate these where it looks like it's going to work. Did it work? Oh, it did work. Okay. See how I have this new boundary line that cuts out my stair? Hopefully Revit likes me. I'm going to hit the green check. It did. And let's see what this looks like in 3D now. So here's my new floor. And if I also put in a 3D view in my upper level, what am I missing here? What? Okay, imagine children up here. Forget children, imagine yourself up here. Railing! Okay, we'll talk about that in just a second. Why don't you guys go through and try to adjust your floor plate around your stairs. I'm going to hit pause again. I'm going to give you guys a minute. Okay, so the first thing that I'll say about railings is typical of what we just did with our properties of the stairs. So if we click on a railing, you can see that properties pop up. We can pull down here. We've only got 3 to choose from, or we can look at it as awesome. We've got 3 to choose from. You know, you get to decide, right? And because this railing in my project is against the wall, I really don't need a rail there. So you can always come through and delete it if you need to. So now I've only got the rail on one side. And I should probably be looking at a plan so you guys can see what I just did there. So the rail is gone that was up against this wall. I've just got this rail now.
Because you can click on one. Okay.
Yep, they're both separate. They're independent of one another.
Now, what if they're both up against a wall?
Then you can delete both of them. Typically by code you need one, right? So you could keep one, you could keep one, you could keep both. I'm just saying that you can get rid of stuff if you need to. So everybody saw that you can delete and you can edit the properties of one. I'm going to go up to my upper level. And the reason why, so I'm kind of departing from stair slightly. If we look at my upper level, you can see that I have essentially a mezzanine that I've created that I need a handrail. So you don't need a stair to draw a railing. Let me go back to the upper level and let me turn off wireframe. Sorry, let me go back to hidden line. And I'm going to get rid of the underlay. Okay, so here is my upper level, and I need my railing to go from here all the way around to this point. You guys with me on that? So in that same menu, I can also just click on railing. See how it's just 2 away from stair? So I can click on railing. I have the same 3 options. I think this was the pipe. I'm not sure. And I've got a line, rectangle, whatever I want to do. Line will be the best for me. And what I kind of like to do with this, I like to offset it because typically the railing isn't right on the floor, but it's a few inches back. So see how I've got offset here as well? Does this menu really start to look familiar now? Like we've seen this with floors, we've seen it with the roof. Now it's similar with the railing. So I'm going to give it a 3-inch offset. I don't know if that's right, but I'll start there. And you see how even though I'm tracing right on the stair, because I have the offset, it's drawing it 3 inches back. I have them edit joins. Well, I'll do that one later, but I'm just going to come up. So with each one of these segments, I'm clicking separately. Now Revit isn't going to like these corners, so I'm going to trim them together. And because it's a railing, I actually don't need to do a continuous loop. I'm just drawing a line to show where the railing is going. And by code, it typically wants you to go 12 inches beyond the top landing so that you have room to kind of steady yourself as you step onto the floor. So I'm going to say yes. So that's what that looks like upstairs. And here's what it looks like in the 3D view. So again, extending about 12 inches. I just eyeballed it. I can come back and do it exact, but I just wanted to eyeball it for now.
Now, it was not the railing that came up the stairs that you extended, though.
No, it wasn't. It was just this rail. So if I wanted to,
Yeah.
I could, where is my plan? I could go to my upper level, edit path. I don't know if lines work with a line. I don't think they do, but we're gonna try. It does. Okay, that worked. So I fixed that by sending it back. But now I'm gonna grab this railing, edit the path, and because I don't know exactly where a foot is, I'm gonna, whoops. One day I'll remember the move command. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a line again. You just worked for me. From here. Okay, rude. That works. This is probably better in 3D.
Yeah.
Now it's to code.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right. Just a couple other things that you can do in here. So you can add a railing separately. You can edit the handrails separately. They are independent from each other. They draw them in automatically, but you can edit them. And you could even come here and edit the length of this one. I don't know why you would do this, but let's say you'd want your bottom 4 stairs to be open. You could go to your courtyard level. These are the ones going up. You could even click on this handrail. And do you see where it says edit path? I could come and say, I don't want this segment of handrail. And then just start it up. Revit by default will automatically draw it into whatever is essentially required by code. So it's a good foolproof way of getting it in there. Everybody with me so far? Kind of a rough crowd today. I can feel midterm coming. We need spring break. Just hang in there with me. I'm going to give you guys silver lining. We're getting stairs done today, okay? Expanded lecture on roofs is coming. We've got schedules and extrusions. That's it. So just what I'm asking you guys is for those like 4 lectures that we have remaining, bring me the energy that we had the past semester. We only have 4 more. And then the rest of it is really for you guys to work and apply to see if this works, okay? So after today, it's really just 3 lectures, okay? Little bit of a reset button. We all have weird days. Today was really weird though. But we're gonna keep going. So now that we've covered kind of like the basics and the fundamentals of stairs, I'm gonna go through real quick kind of what that encompasses, okay? We typically draw stairs as straight runs, right? If we want to draw a landing, how do we accomplish that? We start drawing a line, and then what do? We stop, okay? And then wherever we start drawing again is what defines where the landing is. And we can always edit that after the fact, because again, you guys saw, I'm not kidding, I don't know how stairs are gonna lay out. I can't automatically calculate that in my head or offset it like I would in Revit. This is such a more exact way of drawing stairs than just offsetting lines or drawing lines in hand drafting, okay? So now we have our landing. We don't know if it's right. We can come back and draw reference planes, or we could have had those reference planes there at the start. You could even use the move command to adjust where the different stair segments go, okay? You can do L's, you can do U's, there's many things that you can do. you can change the look of the stair by clicking on the entire stair and going to the properties. There's some options there, not a ton. If you go to the architecture/commercial template, it's totally different. They're monolithic stairs. It's just basically a slab of concrete or a slab of nothing. It doesn't even show this kind of construction of stairs. And then railings. So I would say that railings and stairs are really similar to a lot of the things that we've done in the past where we've had to sketch something. The one exception is that stairs and railings, they don't have to be a closed loop, right? When we did floors, when we did roofs, those have to be a closed loop. Revit needs to know like where those start and where those stop. You see the difference between the two? So we're sketching, one of them sketching a line, one of them is sketching a loop. And then I'm not going to go over the troubleshooting of how to change the stair riser height, okay? Change the tread. The tread will not affect where it starts and ends on your floors. I wish I could break dance in Vogue on your lectures, but I can't, okay? So work with your tread. If you want to work with the actual riser size, rewatch the lecture. But a good rule of thumb with the stairs, if it's not working the first time, should you try to figure out why? Nope. Just delete it and redraw that line. That's really the simplest way of going about it, okay? All right, that's kind of stairs and railings in a nutshell. I'm not going to give you guys a break. I know you probably need one, but we're just going to plow through this next part and then we're just going to call it quits, okay? The next thing that I'm going to show you guys is there are some times where you don't want to have an opening under your stairs like this. There might be a wall that either goes under your stairs or maybe a little bit above your stairs, okay? What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do the whole thing and I just want you guys to watch. And then after you watch, you guys can decide if you want to take a break and then come back and try it with me. If you want to try it later, whatever. I'm just going to throw it at you real quick though. But do you get where I'm going with this? The wall that doesn't go all the way up, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I am going to grab, do I have interior walls? I'm going to grab this interior wall. And this is actually just going to go to the second level, upper level, and finish face interior. That should be okay. Let's figure that out. So I'm going to flip it over here, and I don't know if I want it to go all the way up yet, so I'm just going to draw it partially like this. Okay, and let's see. Do you see how it's also showing in my section already, how it's going all the way up? Now, many of you have your stair like this, and that's perfect. You can keep it like that. But in many residential applications, this might not be what you want your stair to look like. So I'm going to show you guys something totally different that we haven't done before. In my section, you can't do this in plan. It would be really hard to do in plan. I click on the wall, and do you see where it says Edit Profile? Okay, I can actually come through, and do you see on the preview it's showing us that we can actually change the profile of the wall. So I can click on this and I can decide, do I want the wall to actually be the railing? Some people do that. It's kind of a 90s thing. I don't know if people still do it, but we did it a lot in the 90s. But I'm going to come here and just follow this, right? And then let the wall come above. Now, is Revit going to like this? No, it's not a closed loop. I've got tons of extra stuff. So I'm going to trim it out. Trim it out. Is Revit still going to be unhappy with me? Yep, there's one little guy left. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and hit the green check. And that's what that looks like. So you can see here, because of the different changes of height of the wall, the way that I've sketched it out, do you see how this one goes above, this one kind of cuts below the floor plate, like that cut line? But it's doing it all correctly. Let me see if I have a 3D view of that. I do.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what that's doing. Now here's the weird thing. If I grab this wall, let me do that in plan. If I grab this wall and start extending it, it's going to be a little bit weird. because what it's doing, see how it grabbed the angle and it's stretching the angle? It doesn't know to draw a straight wall after that. So again, something to think about, not a big deal. You can just go through and completely re-edit the profile if you need to. Okay, and then you'd also have to do it on this side too. And you could do that with an interior elevation. You could cut another section, do it in section, but basically you need a 2D view of that wall, whether it's section or elevation. Soren, was that your question? I assume that was your question, but I could be wrong.
Not exactly. So mine is like between two walls, and so I don't need a railing that connects to the
very, you just need a freehand. So with that, that goes into like advanced family editing. So what you could do is you could potentially grab one of these. Let me do, which one's the most simple? Probably that one. No. Really what it would come down to is editing the family and getting rid of all of these posts here so that you have basically the handrail but not the posts that go with it. Let me just cheat and see what happens if I try it. Let me go to edit type and see if I can get rid of these here. I don't know if I can. Offset 0. Baluster. Let me see if I can do none. Yay, at least some things are working today. Okay. So again, the reason why I hope you guys don't think I'm fumbling around in this, but to be completely honest, most of my work is in commercial. So this template and the standards that are built in here, I don't work with these. So I'm just kind of like, all right, hallelujah, let's see if it works. So here's what I did. I clicked on the railing, and really I think this could be done with any of them. And when I go to edit type, let me see if it just affects this one or all of them. That's what I didn't pay attention to. I don't know if I need a duplicate yet, so bear with me on that one. I don't know if I need it. If I go to baluster, because that's what these are, so was it rails? No, it was the baluster. So here it's telling me baluster family, this is what it's using. So you can even come here and change whether it's square or round. Do you see how there's all these different options here? I'm going to go to none and then apply. Okay, it's a big liar. It's not applying it. I guess I have to hit OK and then OK. So it does all of them. So if it's a small enough project to where, yes, you do want it to affect all of them, go ahead and keep it all. But I think the better thing to do would be to edit type. What's next? Yep, duplicate. And I would just call this handrail only. And then none. And then what I can do here is a match properties. Okay. So balusters. And we got into a little bit more of customization if you wanted to change the look of your stairs too. Again, this project, maybe not a lot of customization, but when we get to your final, that's where you might want to do a lot more of this customization. Okay. Any other questions of things that you tried to do that you couldn't do yet? No? All right. I'm going to call it quits now for the lecture. I'm just going to pause it. There could be another question that I do want to record, but the rest of the time is just for you guys to work, breathe, whatever you need to do.